And we're live now. We're live now. Sorry. Okay. Good morning. Good night. If you are watching us from another country, another continent, welcome to my YouTube channel, Seek David Grassman, where I do sports reviews about great athletes in boxing, basketball, football, and other sports. Today, I wanted to do something different and to do interviews or lives with athletes, retired and active, and sports related people, including fighters that are active or retired. And today I have a great guest, former IBF World Lightweight Champion Paul Spadafora.
How you
What a
doing,
great
man?
guest today. So, Paul, welcome to my channel. A pleasure and honor to have you here, and so great to have you here, man. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure is mine. So anyway, let's start a little bit. Let's talk about where you grew up and how do you start with boxing, the sport.
Well, I grew up in Pittsburgh. Everybody in my family fought. My cousin fought. My grandfather fought. My father fought, and my brother fought. So, it just was in the family. We always had a heavy bag, and I just like fighting.
Okay, so but how old were you when you started fighting?
I was 14, but I was get I was getting into a lot of fights in the streets. You know what I mean? When I was young, always getting kicked out of school and stuff like that. So once I started boxing, it was different.
Oh, okay, so you got in boxing like in a way like to stay out of trouble and out of the
Yeah,
street.
yeah.
Okay, you said that your grandfather, your brothers fought, but they fought as amateurs or pro or both.
Professional, amateur, and pro. My cousin was Joey Maxim. I don't know if you remember Joey Maxim, light heavyweight champion.
Oh yes, Joey Maxim. He fought Sugar Ray Robinson and some of the others in other eras.
Yeah,
Oh wow, it's very interesting. What a interesting information. I mean, wow, cousin of the great Joey Maxim who fought Robinson and other fighters from the golden era of boxing. Wow, very interesting. Okay, let's talk a little bit about your amateur career. How many amateur fights do you
I had
have?
I had 90 amateur fights. I was 85-5. You know,
Okay, you're managed to fight like for a national championship in the amateur level.
I won the Ohio State Fair back when it was a pretty big tournament. I won it like 3 times. I, but every time I would lose in the nationals, I always lost to the guy who won the whole everything. And I wasn't too good of an amateur. I wasn't too good, but I wasn't too bad. I got shot when I was 16. I got shot in the leg when I was 16 years old. So
Wow.
yeah, I started boxing when I was 14. I got shot when I was 16. I turned pro when I was 19. So I was always in. Really active. You know what I mean? I was off for like a year and a half when I got shot. So 14, 15, I was out for a whole year at 16. Then 17, 18, I turned pro at 19.
Wow.
I try to tell these guys today, these boxers today that I work with, like fighters fight. That's what they do. Like, I mean, if you're not, if you've been in the gym for a couple years and you got 2 fights, there's probably something going on. You know what I mean?
Wow, you got shot at 16, and because of that, you had to be like inactive for over a year. And how hard it was that even for you to stay to be out of the ring for over a year because of that incident?
It
How
was it was it was really hard. It was extremely hard. They didn't get the dog. It was extremely hard. It
Wow.
was really bad for me too when because I was really poor, you know what I mean. And I was living couch to couch, you know what I mean. Really, it was extremely hard. It was probably the worst than what that I ever had it.
Wow. Okay.
Because boxing would keep me out of trouble. You know what I
Yes, I
mean?
can. Yes, I can understand that. Okay, let's go back now. Let's talk about your pro career, and let's go to the night when you won the IBF title back in 1999, if I'm not mistaken, against Carlona. So, how do
Yeah.
you remember that fight when you became world champion?
Uh, Styles make fights. You know what I mean? His style was perfect. His style was perfect for me. You know what I mean? It was just a perfect style for me. He comes right forward, and I pretty much had my way and did whatever I wanted to against him. You know.
Okay, so tell me, and how do you
I'm gonna
feel when
tell
you
you a real
finally?
quick story. I'm gonna tell you a quick story.
Of course.
So I was living with my grandma at the time. I was 4-0 as a professional. I got on USA Tuesday Night Fights my first time, and my trainer PK called me up and said, "Turn on USA Tuesday Night Fights. Israel Cardona's fighting David Sample." They kept shutting the lights out on Dave, and my trainer was like, "Man, you'll beat the brakes off this guy right now." Like it was, and then when I and then 20 and then what? Then I was like, what 20 some fights later, that's who I'm fighting for the title. Shane Mosley moved up to 147. They put me in, and I went right to the top, and boom, they made it a mandatory challenge, a mandatory fight. Like you know how whenever the like Cardona wasn't the champion, Shane Mosley moved up to 147, so we got to fight for the title.
Okay, and how was it? What was it like for you? How do you feel when you finally were able to become world champion? How was it?
Yeah. I mean, it was a dream come true for me because I always thought I was gonna just, be a solid 10 round fighter. I never really cared. It didn't. I wasn't. You know what I mean? I just knew I was gonna. I always thought that I was gonna be going in people's backyards and just beating the brakes off them. That was just how I thought. But it ended up being a whole opposite way. I won the title, and man, I had most of my fights in Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? And it was just like it just did my thing.
Yeah, okay. And yes, I saw you had several title defenses,
Yeah,
and of all those title defenses, which one or which ones were the hardest for you?
I would say the hardest fight that I had was Victoria and Sosa. He caught me in the third round and
Okay.
had me out in the third round. I don't know how I even got back up. I just training hard, I guess, from doing hard road work. You know.
Okay. And as from I know that, yeah, I remember that you're a southpaw, right? Left-handed.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And since you
My
mentioned
style
more,
was different. I had a different style. When I had got shot in my left leg, I before I got shot, I had a lot of stoppages. A good, really good body puncher, but I had to adjust when I had got shot. I couldn't move. I couldn't run. I had to be right in front of you and go to put myself in different positions. You know what I mean? So
okay. So you think had you not been shot, probably would have been it would have been different.
yeah, I think so. I know. So I would have had a lot of stoppages.
Okay, okay. I remember that in that time, if I'm not mistaken, you're the IBF lightweight champion, and then Floyd Mayweather Jr. moved up from super featherweight to lightweight to win the WBC World Championship. And it would have been a unification fight that you could have had, but that fight like never happened. Is there like any particular reason that you think that it didn't happen? Do you think that Mayweather avoided you, he didn't want to fight you, or probably it was another
No,
reason why?
I just when I got that draw with Leonard Dorn, uh, we we were supposed to have a rematch. I went to boxing camp and he retired, and then when he retired, I caught a case. When I got in trouble, I pretty much jammed myself up. You know what I mean?
You got a like an issue with the law? That's what you try to say?
Yeah, yeah, a big issue.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, and I remember, yeah, okay, Leonard Dorin, I know him because he had a draw with Raul Barbie, who's a fighter from was a fighter from Argentina, so a lightweight. So how do you remember that fight with Leonard Dorin?
I thought I won the fight. I thought I knocked him down in the fourth round. I thought they should have counted that as a knockdown. I mean, I clearly thought I won. I was highly upset, but if we would have had if we would have had the rematch, I would have stopped him. I knew he couldn't take body punches. I mean, he was a good guy, but I knew he couldn't take body. I had him in my camp for when I fought Cardona, and you know, it was just what it was. He was there for like a week. You know what I mean? He got his ass out the camp, but
Oh, wow.
but it is what it is. You can't take it back now. Now I just look forward to becoming a trainer and doing the right thing, working with these kids, try to develop professional fighters, and that's it.
Okay, now let's look back for a minute. You won the IBF title when, since you say it was vacant because Shane Mosley moved up in weight, as we all know.
Yeah.
Now, Uh, do you think would you have liked to fight Shane Mosley for the title? Do you think it would have been a good fight?
I think, me personally, I think Shane Mosley was probably the best 135-pounder ever, and that's even going with Roberto Duran because I think that and no one ever went the distance with Mosley at 135. He was just a strong puncher, very hard. That would have been an extremely hard fight for me.
Oh, okay, but in case okay, I remember saw some fights in Shane Mosley when he was a lightweight. So, how would you have dealt with someone like Mosley in that fight in as a
I mean, I
lightweight?
can't. All I could do is be myself. You know what I mean? I can't be no one else. I just box just the way I always do. You know what I mean? Just that's it. That's the only way you could deal with somebody like that. You just got to do what I do best.
Okay, now let's go way
I'm not.
back.
I'm not. Huh? Okay.
No, no, you were saying something?
I'm like. I'm not delusional. You know what I mean? Like, some people are delusional and want to say this and say that. No, I'm not going to sit there and tell you, no, I'd have beat Mosley. No, that would have been a hard style for me to fight. Extremely hard style. I would have did better with Floyd than with Mosley because I feel that Floyd didn't respect me, and I feel like just like what in this when we was boxing, I just feel like he would just come. And when I seen him in the casino, he said, "I'm gonna run right through you." And when he said that, I hurried up and texted my brother. I was like, "Man, there ain't nobody at 135 that's gonna run right through me, not him. Nah." You know what I mean? I think Shane was just strong as hell. Shane was very strong at 135, extremely strong, hard puncher.
Okay, and you think that was a little different when he moved to
He
welterweight
went
and
all the way up to 147.
yeah.
He didn't stop at 140, went right to 147. Shane's a beast.
Oh, okay. And let's talk to the back back to the fight when you lost that you had your first loss against Johan Perez. What do you think happened in that fight?
Well, I look at it like I think it was a close fight. I thought it could have been a draw, but it, I want to tell you this. At the end of my career, I wasn't a fighter. At the end, nah, I was doing drugs, drinking alcohol. I was
Wow.
I wasn't being the same person that I was back when I was the champion. You know what I'm saying? I just got out of prison. I was in and out of prison. It just was. It was. It just was what it was. Once you
Okay.
start putting, once you start putting stuff like that in your body, you can't say you're a fighter no more.
Okay, I can understand to some point what you're saying because some other fighters were affected by their those kind of addictions.
Yeah.
And if you stay out of those addictions, do you think the outcome would have been different? Your career
Yes.
would have been different.
Yes. Most definitely. Most definitely.
Okay. Okay. Now that if you're still watching boxing today, how do you see the state of boxing? Is way different than it was before. How do you see the sport of boxing today?
I mean, I love boxing. I mean, we have great fighters today. Terrence Crawford,
Yeah.
Tank Davis, Usyk, a lot of great fighters. You know what I mean? Uh, I kind of, uh, you know, I think with the money, the kind of money that they're getting, I think it's hurt. I mean, I don't like to say. I just think it's hurting them. I think it's not. It's. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain that. I just think that. Do I think the box? Do I think today's boxers would have been able to deal? Certain guys like Crawford, Tank, Usyk, them guys could have dealt in any era, any era. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Crawford could fight in any era. Leonard, all them people. But I definitely feel the older I'm more of a everybody's on the hand pads. Everybody holds the hand pad. Blah 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 blah. I never held. No one ever. We was not a. I never hit the hand pads were coming up. My trainer was like 60 years old. And then when I met, when my trainer passed away, then I started to hit the hand pads, but I never hit the hand pads. All I would do is spar, hit the heavy bag, do my road work, and jump rope and do what boxers do. You know what I mean? I never did none of that type of stuff. I mean,
Wow.
we sparred every day. I don't remember no days that we did. I mean, we come to the gym, you're sparring. You know what I mean? My gym was always packed. We always had pros in the gym, and we was always sparring.
Okay. Let's go back to your career that you I remember and it's probably known that you spar with Floyd Mayweather Jr. once. So how do you remember those sparring sessions or those sparring rounds with Mayweather?
It was just sparring and sparring. People make a big deal. That's just It was just sparring. You know how many times I got beat up in sparring? I got somebody come and got out on me in sparring. That's all it is. People make a big deal out of that. That makes me mad when people do that. I'm just like, come on, man. That's if known for a sparring session. That don't make no sense.
Right, because a sparring session is way
Sparring,
different.
sparring, sparring is sparring. Period.
Yeah, I can get it because a sparring session and a pro fight are two different things.
Yeah. I still would like to get an exhibition. That'd be fun.
Because we see a lot of
That'd
fighters
be fun
coming
as
back.
hell. That would
Yeah.
be fun. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, because we see a lot some fighters coming back to do exhibitions. Yeah, and I remember
And
now
I'm
that
on,
we
and you see my arm right here. Look, and my arm. I got bit by my dog. I lost all my nerves in there. Look, I can't close my hand. You see my finger. I still would want to get it in. Yeah, yeah.
oh man.
One leg,
Okay,
one ball.
okay.
I
And
gotta
then,
go to a thing at 9 o'clock.
okay, let me ask you one thing. Do you have you noticed that there's like so many fighters like avoiding others to protect their record to avoid that won't be a
I,
record? Do you
I
see it?
don't think me personally. I don't think that no. I mean, I don't think that the fighters are avoiding anybody because I had the same problem. I feel that it's the promoters. I know my promoter. My promoter was the same way. So I'm like, well, how do you fight Cardona? Do what I did to Cardona, and then come immediately fight Renardo Cornet? Don't make sense. Don't make sense. They're talking about he should be fighting Gotti. He should be fighting Manfredi. I fought Manfredi in 2001. That was 1999 when I won a title. I feel that it's not the fighters that are avoiding anybody. I feel that the promoters and the managers are the one doing it because they try to build their career up so they can get the big payday. You know what I'm saying? I think nowadays, now it's actually getting better because you're seeing guys fight each other more. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what I think. I don't think. I think that, and another thing is with the like, everybody worries about that don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing. People that you fought. You know what I'm saying? So I actually think nowadays is better because they're making these guys fight each other. With that Turkey guy,
Yeah,
that, yeah,
yeah, the guy from Arab.
yeah.
Now this happening, and I want to ask you that. What do you think? What this guy Turkish is doing for boxing now?
He might be destroy. I mean, he's making fights. He's maybe like I'm up and down because whenever you're giving somebody $20 million, I mean that's crazy. I mean that's just like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of I'm up and down with it because you're kind of spoiling the fighters. And now people are talking about retiring. Tank's 30 years old. He's talking about he's done. He might be retiring after 4 or 5 more fights. I mean, I don't understand that. You
Yes,
see
I can.
guys like Roy Jones is fighting, so they're like, yeah, Roy's a beast. They don't make him like that though. They don't make him like Roy.
Yeah, I can understand that because I can understand saying because when these fighters are earning so much millions, even when they don't deserve it, at some point they're getting spoiled a lot. I can understand what you're
Yeah.
saying. Okay, and another question I want to ask: what do you think of Manny Pacquiao returning to boxing at 46 after being out of the ring over 4 years for 4 years?
Uh, he's fighting. He's fighting a champion, a very tough guy. Barry is really tough. I mean, I don't. You can't ever underestimate Manny Pacquiao, but I just think that I think he should. I don't think that's a good idea. I just don't want it to happen though. You know what I mean? Because he's from what I heard, from what I never met him, but from what I heard of him, I heard he's a great guy, like a great guy. Gives to his country, helps out, helps everybody out. You know what I'm saying? And I would hate to see something happen to him because you don't play boxing, and he ain't the type of guy that's gonna lay down for nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can.
They're not. He's not. There's no way that he's broke. There's no way that he needs the money. But I guess his desire to and love for the sport, you know.
Okay, and let me. Well, I want to ask you
Once you
something
get,
else.
let me say something. Once you get to a certain age, and once you can't take a shot no more, it's time to be done.
Right.
So all you're doing is you're taking away from your family. You're taking away from the people that love you.
All right. Yes, I can understand. What you, okay, and that's a probably a one thing that you're not liking of fighters that they're returning like either to make exhibitions or to make this coming back after a long inactivity like Pacquiao is.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that.
Okay, and is there something else like that you're not liking about the sport of boxing today? So how you say?
Yeah, I the work ethic. I well, you got to remember, I just started training guys. I've been training guys for like 3 years, and I just got into it. And the fact that people just don't want to like I said, fighters. When you're a boxer, you're supposed to fight. You know what I mean? You spar, you fight. That's what you do. Fighters fight, and I think that the work ethic is definitely a situation.
Yes, I can see where you're going, and
It's
yeah,
even in the when I retired, I worked at a tree service for like 7 years, and I seen probably I'm when I retired, I was 40 years old, so I'm 49 right now. So I was working there for like 7 years. You know what I mean? I seen probably 100 people come and go. The work ethic in today's era is different. They got the phone, everything's on the phone. The phone, the YouTube money. Everybody wants to go like this. You know what I mean? It ain't the same. Some people say social media it's good for social media stuff like that, but it's it looks like to me it's taking the work ethic out of people. It's easy to pick a phone up and start recording and then get for views you get paid. Come on, man. But what are you gonna do?
yeah, I want to talk about something else. For example, you know James Toney when he beat like John Ruiz for the world heavyweight title 20 years ago, he did it, but he tested positive for a banned substance. And you know that fight
No, no,
was yeah, he
no.
cheated in that fight. He took
He didn't cheat. He's the best. You realize who we're talking about?
yes,
James Toney is probably the. I mean, you can say he's the best fighter ever. I mean, you can say that. Roy, Salvador Sanchez. You know what I mean? Sugar Ray Robinson, Leonard. You can't talk like that about James Toney. What did he test positive for?
I remember back in
Probably for what? Some.
yeah, but
It don't matter if he was. I don't care if he was doing what. I don't care. No one can beat James Toney. He can fight,
yeah,
bro.
I know that he could fight, but let me finish. When after he beat Ruiz, like he tested positive for a banned substance, and that fight was declared no contest. But as far as I remember, nobody defend him. Now Ryan Garcia beats Devin Haney, and Ryan Garcia tests positive for a banned substance, and we had a lot of people defending Ryan Garcia. You know,
Well,
is there like
listen.
any
Let me,
particular reason
let
for
me
that?
say something about this. Okay, Ryan Garcia came in three. Let me just tell you. You know how hard it is to make weight. Whenever you're coming down from such a big guy, you come down, and he knew he wasn't going to make the weight. He didn't. I believe wholeheartedly that he knew he wasn't going to make the weight, and and then he put and then he put that stuff in his body it's making him a lot stronger and a lot. The power's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Do and I just think that that was it wasn't fair. When he come in at 143 pounds, no, I don't think that was fair.
Right.
I'm just saying 3 pounds is a major difference. I don't. That's what I think. When you're coming down a weight and then you put that in your body, that's just my opinion.
Well, exactly. I remember, and there's a lot of people that, despite doing that, a lot of people defend Ryan Garcia, and a lot of people criticize Devin Haney, even makes fun of him. Do you think that's fair?
Do I think what I mean? Devin Haney proved that he's a great fighter. I think that fight that he fought, with Ryan Garcia, me personally, I would have took 18 months off. If I was training him, I wouldn't have let him fight for 18 months. And then I heard he had over 100 rounds of sparring for his last fight. And did you watch his last fight?
With Ramirez, yes, I did watch it.
And I think that that fight with Garcia hurt it, Devin.
Yeah, okay. But we also see that the fight with Garcia with Romero, and it was a different Garcia with Ryan Garcia when he fought Rolando Romero.
Yeah, I actually picked Rolly to win that fight.
Oh.
I won some money on it. Not no big money, but I won. It was a good pick. You know what I'm saying? But I thought that like I said, styles make fights. Rolly is strong as him, and Ryan Garcia is very, very, very explosive. Do I think Ryan Garcia is like? I don't think that hurt Ryan Garcia's career. I think Ryan can bounce right back and do whatever he needs to do. You know what I mean? I just think that Rolly's a strong. People don't know he's very strong puncher too. So I just think styles make fights.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned that.
But if you watch if you watch Ryan Garcia's body language and you watch Devin Haney's body language, there's a big difference of the Devin Haney before he fought Ryan Garcia, and there ain't no difference whenever Ryan Garcia fought Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia is still. I don't want to see that fight. I don't want to see Devin Haney and Ryan fight again. Me personally.
Okay. Let's go back when the time that you mentioned our work ethic. We've seen several fighters that miss weight in fights, like for example Garcia against Haney, just that we mentioned, and there's a lot of several fighters that miss weight in fight. For example, the case of Gustavo Lemos, the Argentinian, that he missed weight against Keishon Davis, fighting like 7 pounds overweight, yet he was still stopped by Davis in 2 rounds. Do you feel like there's any reason that you think that there's a lot of reason? Do you think of any particular reason of why some fighters are missing weight for fights today?
Because they're disrespectful motherfuckers. That's what that is. They're disrespectful. That's what that is. There's no reason in the world. Listen, I've been fighting my whole life. I ain't never in my life missed weight. There's a reason why you don't miss weight, because you gotta be weight. They make weight classes for reasons, But Terrence Crawford's about to go up 2 weight classes and fight Canelo.
Yeah.
There's different type of. Not everybody. There's levels to this shit. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to the game, and that's just a fact. And not every animal. There's just like the animals. You know what I mean? Like I have a pit bull. He's a mountain lion. That's like a mountain lion right there. The one I have. You know what I mean? Probably like 100 pounds. I'd put him in there with a mountain lion. I'd put he like you know what I mean. There's different dogs. There's different and different people. Not everybody can do what people can. Not everybody can. Who could be Roy? Who could be Roy? Roy was pound for pound for 20 years. You know, Roy wanted to fight Tyson whenever Tyson was Tyson. You know what I mean? You agree?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can understand what you're saying.
But I just think that it's very disrespectful to come in 7 pounds heavy, even though Keyshawn did what he did. You know, I just feel that that's just disrespectful.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They fuck around and with the money they're getting, man, they should fuck around and when they don't make the weight, they don't get the money. How about that? See if they fight now.
Well, that
No,
could
that's
be
what it is.
that could be a good measure, so they
Listen.
don't
You
miss.
make a guy. The thing about this. Keyshawn's training every day, hard as hell, getting his weight down, doing what he has to do. Believe me, it's hard for him to make the weight too, but he made the weight. 7 pounds, 7 pounds, 3 pounds. Nah, I don't care what anybody says. That's a difference. It's a major difference.
Yeah, yes, I understand what you're
And
saying.
that to me is cheating. Cheating. That's cheating. That's how I look at that. You might as well be putting steroids in your body. You might as well. You're making the guy come. When I know about me, there was a certain time in my career when I shrunk that when I started to get 37, 36, my weight, because I fought at 135, my body I would feel a certain type of way. It might feel weaker. It was hard, but you have that one day. You got that one day to like. There's ways to do it also. You know.
Uh, okay. Yes, I understand. Okay, let's go back to your career. Besides Mosley and Mayweather, is there any fighter that you would have liked to fight, like maybe Juan Manuel Marquez, Morales? You see it.
I would have liked to fight Diego Corrales.
Yo, Corrales. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I would have liked to fight Stevie Johnson. And those are great fighters. I just wanted to see how I would do.
Okay. Okay. Any other name like okay, Corrales and Stevie Johnston. Okay. And how can I tell you? If you don't have the chance to move in weight to win maybe a world title at 140, will you do it or
Yeah, I would have tried it. Of course, I tried. I fought for the WBA Intercontinental World Title when I lost that fight against that Johan Perez. Of course.
okay? Maybe one more question. What do you think it needs to happen so the sport of boxing can maybe improve or go back to the way maybe it was 20, 30 years ago?
I don't. I think personally, I think they need to lower the purses a little bit. Like this 180 million, I mean, 50 million, 100 million. I think that's ridiculous. I mean, that's what I just think. But that's just me. You know what I mean? But I don't wanna hate on them. I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying. But it's doing something. It's doing something to the boxers. Like everybody's trying to get that back. Like put it like this: you got amateurs. They got no fights, and they're turning pro. You know why? You think they're turning pro? They want to get the money. You understand what I'm saying? You have to build your way up. You know what I'm saying? There's You have to work your way. You have to get the experience to go to the nationals, get the fights. Then you turn pro, and then you do what you need to do. You get a manager. They do that. I'm not a manager. I'm just a trainer. I'm a fighter, but now I'm training guys. You know what I mean? So I just think that I think the money they need to lower the purses a little bit, and you and I think that there should be a rule about the turning pro. Like you got to have at least 20, 30 fights. I think that. I mean, how many
Yeah,
guys do you know right now? Think about it. That are the turn pro and they ain't even have 20 fights.
there must be a lot.
A lot. And it ain't everybody's talking about the champions. Well, the champions are different. The people they all every one of them. Tank's been fighting since he was 7 years old. Devin Haney's been fighting his whole life. Ryan Garcia's been fighting. Sean Porter, how many amateur fights? 6-time national champion. Do you know what I'm saying? Mayweather been in Olympic. He was Olympic gold medalist. He got robbed. That was a clear win. You know what I mean? I think that there should be some type of rule, but that's just me though.
Oh, okay. So tell me, and what boxers do you like seeing fight
My
today?
favorite fighter today, right now, is Tank, Crawford, and Usyk. I really like Usyk. Usyk can fight. I don't think no one's gonna beat him for a minute.
Well, okay. So maybe we can leave it like here. We can end it here. So maybe thank you for being my channel. It was a pleasure to meet you, bro. Pleasure to meet you. Nice hearing you, hearing your career. Well, best of luck and now in your career now as a trainer. Best of
All
luck.
right. Thanks a lot. Take
Now,
care, man.
okay. Thank you, man.
All right,
Bye.
my man.
And follow me. Subscribe to my channel so you can hear and watch more interviews with athletes and sports related people and more of my sports content. Thanks for watching.